Hello, this is Laura talking to you live today on Laura's Raw Beauty. And what I'm wanting to talk about today, in addition to my raw vegan lifestyle, I like to exercise and what kind of exercises that I do to stay in shape. I'm not going to really give my age away totally, but I am over 50. So, I've learned different things through the years on exercising because as lives went on, your body kind of changes. And not only does your body change, but I think you learn the older you get that you don't have to work as hard on certain things, and you really have to rotate your exercises, and you really have to use different body parts all the time. And I'm very big on just head to toe exercises. And when I say head to toe, you think, does she exercise her face? Yes, I do. I exercise my face. So I'm going to start off with what I do to exercise my face. And I've always liked to use videos because having somebody instruct, even though I know the moves, and there's times when I do them in the mirror myself if I'm in a hurry, it's really nice to have somebody kind of instructing and feel like somebody else is doing them with you. So I'm a real big fan of this Happy Face Yoga program. I've done this for a long time, and I really, really believe that it does wonders for your face. And, the different muscles that you don't use on your face after a while, and they start to get saggy, the skin starts to sag. So I do believe that muscle has a lot to do with some of the tautness of your skin, in addition to all of the things that you eat. I eat a very good diet, of course. I do a lot of sea moss, and that helps with collagen, and I try to stick with a lot of vitamin C, and I eat all raw foods, so that helps a lot. But in addition to that, these are the things that I do. I love to use a gua sha. A gua sha is really good. Now, I don't know if it's important to some people. It may be important that it's real rose quartz, or I also have rollers, and I have all kinds of different things. But this is something that I really believe in, and I believe in it because of lymph. Also, I believe very highly in the lymph system, and there's ways to use this after you've done some on your jaw, and you're supposed to go upward. You will see a difference if you do one side and then you don't do the other side. You will see the immediate lift, but it also has an overall effect, an accumulative effect after time. So I really believe in these. I believe very highly in lymphatic system. So I do have a Bellicon, or as a mini trampoline, as you would call it. And I use that at least 10 minutes a day. And I think that that's highly important. I think your lymph system is very important. So with the gua sha, you get some facial lymph drainage. And I also use some dry brushing, and dry brushing is really good for the lymphatic system. And one of the things I do is just use this going always toward the heart, you're supposed to. And, so I do my underarms. Sometimes I've even done my legs, feet, inner thighs, places that you have cellulite. It can help. So those are some of the things that I do. As far as body workouts go, I love lifting weights. I'm not any kind of big time bodybuilder, but my arms are pretty taut and they're in pretty good shape. I use a lot of free weights. Anywhere between like 3 to 20 pounds is what I have. So if anybody didn't have anything to work out with, I would say that free weights and some of these tools that I've talked about and definitely a mini trampoline. And you know, it can get really confusing because there's so many different advertisements out there, and there's so many different things telling you use this, don't use that, this is better. And it can really make somebody who's trying to get into shape, or maybe started on some kind of diet or raw vegan lifestyle, and they really want to get into shape, what to do and what not to do. So what I have learned is that you try to always go mid-grade with everything. Don't get the cheapest, but you don't always have to jump straight into the very best. Just like I mentioned, it doesn't maybe have to be complete rose quartz. It might or it might not be. It's hard to tell because there's so many different things on TV and on YouTube's about buying these things that you wouldn't always know. You know, so the real important thing is to just do the work and to really be always every day at it. I mean, you can't expect results and think that, you know, you're going to be able to do it for 2 or 3 days and then all of a sudden you're not going to do it. So if you do that, you're not going to see the results. So you have to be consistency. Consistency is the most important thing in any regimen that you do. And one thing that I have been for many years is very consistent. But as the years have went on, I learned a lot of things from my mistakes. And some of the mistakes that I've made is jumping into doing things like too much high rev energy programs. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Insanity. I have the whole program. But too much jarring and jumping and banging and trying to get into these real heavy course things, thinking that you're going to build muscle overnight, is not good. And it's really important to stretch. And I learned physical therapy when I was in a wreck 3 years ago. I went to a physical therapist and I realized how important it is to do physical therapy. And that's when I got introduced to, I started doing less yoga and more. This is a workout that I do, and it's by a Miranda Esmond White is her name. I don't know her, but as far as her workouts, this is a terrific program, and she has morning routines on TV that I really like to do. And I do not start my routines until I do this, because when I started doing this, I realized that all of a sudden what I thought was a wimpy little workout before I would get into these heavier workouts, and I sort of thought of that as a warm-up, I realized by accident that I was getting so much better posture, better body alignment, and that my body was actually really out of alignment. And that's why I had so much trouble with my shoulders and my neck. And you can really get into a lot of trouble with your neck, your shoulders, your lower back, and all these different things. So I do those along with my inversion table. That's another thing that I'm really high on, is an inversion table. So if there were 2 big pieces of equipment that I would suggest starting off with, it's an inversion table and it is a Bellicant jumper or mini trampoline. Mine is called the Jump Start. That's the one that I got, and I think that's a good one to start. I think that the ones that are $100 are too cheap, because I started off with one of those, and I realized when I got the Jump Start that it was so much more effective, because I could actually feel the bounce, and I wasn't feeling, I don't know how to explain that, but it's just, the quality does matter to a certain degree. There is a point with everything where I feel like it can only get so much better, and I just feel like I'm real comfortable with that right now. And that's the one that I would suggest, because it's mid-grade. It's about $250. It's a lot better than the $100 ones, but it's not a $700 or $800. I guess you can get them up to $1,000 or maybe even more. But The point with me with exercise is getting the right thing and then just sticking with that and not worrying about whether or not it's the most expensive one, and just really getting there and just getting it and getting started and doing 10 minutes a day. If 10 minutes a day is what you have in your time, then I would suggest being more consistent about 10 minutes than to worry about whether you can do 2 hours and then get too exhausted and not continue. That's the problem that I see with a lot of people, is they start off with great intentions, but then it kind of fizzles out. And that's why you go into people's houses and they have all this equipment all over the place and they don't even use it. Things like treadmills and all that. Matter of fact, I have a friend who wants to give me her treadmill, and I may take it from her if I can get a room set up. I have to get a room set up to put a few little of these equipment things that I have sitting on my porch right now that I'm wanting to get not all over my house. I don't want a bunch of equipment everywhere. So, but you know, it's not so much, I don't know that I would go out and I would have purchased one, but if somebody was going to give it to me, there's nothing wrong with doing a good 20-minute run or whatever on a treadmill. But what I feel is important is the lymphatic system and your back. So a lot of people have back troubles. The inversion table, I think, has a way of really trying to get you straightened out. And as far as yoga goes, for religious reasons, I don't follow yoga anymore. I know there's other people that do, and for some people they swear by it, and that's great. If you do, I really found that I get more out of these other workouts that I talked about. I think she calls it classic stretch, Miranda White, but I really enjoy those workouts. I feel that I've gotten a lot more out of that than these real strong holds that you do in yoga, where you're stretching one thing and you're holding. What she does is she's always moving the body, and she talks a lot about the fascia in the body. And I've really become very much a strong believer in that, because as I was doing her tapes, and I was actually found her in the morning. I didn't actually have a tape, but like I said, I found, my gosh, I'm so much looser and I can move so much better. And it's really hard to believe that I kind of found this by accident. And now I'm such a strong believer in these kinds of workouts. And whenever she does certain things, if you have shoulder pain, she'll tell you, relax. Make sure you relax. Don't be tense all the time. And I think that a lot of exercises, sometimes you're too tense, and it really could be very counterproductive. So those are my suggestions on that. And so what I do as far as other parts of my body is I like to do a lot of 5-10 minute floor work for inner thighs. I try to hit little spots of my body every day. If I have only a certain amount of time, I do 5-minute butt, 5-minute inner thigh, and 5-minute stomach, and I mix that around. If I have more time one day, I may focus a little more in on the abs. The next day I may do more of a 20-minute outer thigh, but I make sure that I hit those inner thighs and that butt every day, because if those are the areas, whatever areas you feel need the most help, I feel like you have to target those on a daily basis, because we're sitting a lot of the day, we're standing a lot of the day, and we're not using those certain muscles. So I feel like they have to in order to get that memory in your muscle, you need to do that stuff daily and stick with it. And they do have a lot of programs for 5 minutes and 10 minutes that, you know, you can do in a half an hour and hit every part of your body. So my choice in times to work out is in the morning. I like to do an hour and a half of exercise in some form or fashion. I like to start off with my face, and I like to get my face done in the morning, and then I feel refreshed, and I do a morning routine in the bathroom, and then I go to my exercise, and I do my stretch exercises or my morning with Miranda Esmond White. I do that first because I feel like that gets my focus and my body in alignment, and I feel loose, and then I'm ready to jump on my fun little mini trampoline. And I enjoy that because I get a good lymphatic workout. And when you're doing that, I mean, every cell in your body is moving. You have to understand that you can't get one thing from one exercise that you can from another. So I feel like small little bits of each thing is more important than just, you know, some people will think, oh, I want to get my biceps, and they'll just keep doing all this bicep work because they keep thinking they want that Popeye on their, you know, look on their arm or something. But you can't just work one part of your body. You have to work all these different parts in order to get the full benefits of what you need as far as exercise. And all of that other stuff will come in time as far as really seeing that muscle and things like that. My weaker parts have always been my triceps. So I've been working hard on that. I could see now when I do this, I don't see anything wiggling. So for being 50 plus, that's pretty good. And it's because I have been so consistent with it. And so those are the things I believe in as far as a lot of exercising. And I also like to get a full body workout a couple of days a week where I really want to get like a good sweat or something like that. I have lots and lots of tapes, and I really like Jari Love's tapes. These are two that I do quite often, and I like them because she uses a lot of, she does use a lot of weights, and it's not real wimpy. I mean, it's got some good arm exercises that I like to include in, and you'll get a good sweat. And she's got some step aerobics in there, and she does floor work. So if there's ever time when you just want to get a full workout in and not these little mini skits, and you just want to get a good sweat in, that's what I do. So I kind of mix and I change these things all the time. And it is hard to try to get everything in sometimes in a day, because I mean, I'm up early in the morning and I'm also juicing, and I'm also trying to plan my meals for the day. So it can get overwhelming. So start off with what's good for your body. I'm just telling you my little routines and how I try to fit these things into my lifestyle. And, you know, sometimes you may only have a half an hour in the morning. So choose what you'd like to do in the morning. And if you can, put on your YouTubes and find one of these 5 minutes and just stick 5 minutes in the day whenever you can. Whatever works for you. Just because it works in the morning for me and always has doesn't mean that it's that way for everybody. And sometimes some people don't like to wake up early. I've always been an early riser, and the earlier I get things done, the better. And then whatever I could do for the rest of the day is just an extra add-on. But if I don't do it, I know I've already done what I actually needed to do in the morning. So I guess that pretty much wraps it up. I probably missed things. I always do. But I'm going to close with my little reading, which is another thing that I do on a daily basis. And I'm going to read this out of Ephesians, and it's chapter 2, verse 8. And it says, "By grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourself, it is the gift of God." Thank you so much. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Have a great day.